and spirit. Forget magnesium for just a moment and imagine this. You wake up after a long night's sleep and your muscles feel noticeably stronger, less sore, spirit, and more recovered even though you didn't do anything extra in the gym. Sounds unrealistic, right? Well, and spirit. There are two vitamins that quietly work overtime while you sleep, helping rebuild muscle tissue, support repair, and spirit, and enhance recovery far more effectively than most people realize. And here's the twist, almost no one focuses on them at night, and spirit, even though that's when your body needs them the most. If you're trying to build muscle, bounce back from workouts faster, spirit, or simply stop waking up feeling stiff and achy, what I'm about to say might completely change your nighttime routine. Most people obsess over magnesium, spirit, and while it's useful, it's not the magic bullet they think it is. And spirit. These two vitamins actually work synergistically with your body's natural recovery processes, and taking them before bed can amplify the effects of your sleep, spirit, which is when most muscle repair happens. The first vitamin is one that surprisingly gets ignored in the fitness world, spirit, even though it plays a major role in protein synthesis and helps regulate how well your body absorbs nutrients from the food you eat. And spirit. When your levels are optimal, you're not just digesting your meals, you're converting them into actual muscle fuel. And when you take this vitamin at night, spirit, while your body is in a state of repair, it helps with tissue recovery and reduces the breakdown of muscle fibers, spirit. Think of it like having a construction crew working while the city sleeps. No traffic, no distractions, just pure rebuilding. And spirit. That's what makes this timing so powerful. If you've ever wondered why you feel sore for days, struggle with strength plateaus, or recover slower than others, and spirit. It might not be your workout plan that's the problem. It could very easily be this missing nutrient, and spirit. The second vitamin on this list is even more interesting because it directly assists with collagen production, joint support, and connective tissue integrity. And spirit. In simple terms, it's not just helping your muscles, it's also helping the structures that hold your muscles together. Spirit. People forget that muscle growth isn't only about fibers getting larger, it's about the entire system that supports them. Spirit. Strong joints and strong connective tissues mean fewer injuries, less soreness, and more sustainable progress. And spirit. And this vitamin's real superpower kicks in during sleep, especially the deep sleep phase. And spirit. When your hormone levels peak and your body is focused on cellular repair. Taking it in the morning means you're missing that prime recovery window. And spirit. Think about it like charging your phone. If you plug it in for 10 minutes during the day and then drain it all afternoon, spirit, it's not going to be full when you need it. But plug it in overnight and it charges while you rest, so by morning it's ready. Your muscles work the same way. And spirit nights are when growth hormone spikes, inflammation decreases, and the body prioritizes repair. Period. These vitamins are most effective when they align with that natural rhythm. So while magnesium gets all the fame for sleep and relaxation, and spirit, these two are working more behind the scenes to ensure your muscles are actually benefiting from that rest. Now, before I reveal what they are, and spirit, let's talk about something important. You don't need expensive supplements, extreme diets, or fancy products to make this work. These vitamins are accessible, spirit simple, and found in everyday foods. And when you understand how they support muscle recovery, you might start to rethink your entire nighttime routine. And spirit. Because the biggest gains don't happen in the gym, they happen in your sleep. Your workout is the stimulus, but recovery is the transformation. And spirit. Without proper nutritional support at night, you're basically leaving half your gains on the table. So here they are. The first vitamin is vitamin B6. Spirit. It plays a huge role in protein metabolism and helps your muscles use amino acids more efficiently. When taken at night, it's spirit. It supports the body's repair cycle and helps you wake up less stiff after heavy lifting or intense training. The second vitamin is vitamin C. At spirit, it's essential for collagen production, connective tissue strength, and reducing oxidative stress caused by intense workouts. And spirit. Pairing vitamin C with B6 before bed means you're giving your body tools to repair muscle fibers, reinforce joints, and reduce inflammation while you sleep. Spirit. Imagine combining optimal sleep with nutrients that supercharge recovery. You're not just resting, you're rebuilding. And spirit. And this can be a game changer for people who train hard, have busy schedules, or want faster progress without feeling burned out. And the best part is, and spirit, you can get these vitamins naturally. Foods like bananas, chickpeas, chicken, salmon, spinach, citrus fruits, berries, and bell peppers are great sources. And spirit. But if your diet isn't always perfect, supplements offer a simple way to ensure you're covered. Now, I'm not saying magnesium is useless. Of spirit. It's great for relaxation and sleep quality, but focusing only on magnesium means missing out on nutrients that actively help muscle tissue recover. Spirit. If you want real progress, stronger lifts, less soreness, better workouts, and healthier joints, start supporting your body when it needs it most at night. Spirit. Picture waking up ready to train instead of dragging yourself through soreness and fatigue. That's what proper nighttime nutrition can do. And spirit. So the next time you think about boosting muscle growth, don't just focus on the gym. Focus on recovery. Fuel your body before bed. Spirit. Give it the nutrients it needs, and let sleep become your secret weapon. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments. Spirit. And if you want more night routine or supplement tips, make sure you stick around. Your muscle gains aren't made during sets and reps. And spirit. They're made in the hours when you rest. Start optimizing those hours and you'll notice the difference faster than you think. And spirit. Most people overrate magnesium for muscle recovery and overlook other key vitamins that work better at night. And spirit. And this misunderstanding often starts with the massive amount of attention magnesium gets in the wellness and fitness world. Everywhere you look, and spirit. Supplement ads, social media influencers, gym conversations. Magnesium is always portrayed as the ultimate mineral for sleep, relaxation, and muscle repair. Spirit. Because it calms the nervous system and helps with sleep quality, people assume it automatically plays the biggest role in rebuilding muscles. Spirit. The problem is that this belief causes many to ignore other vitamins that actively support tissue repair, protein synthesis, and spirit, and connective tissue strength while the body is sleeping. Magnesium does help, but its role is more supportive than people realize. Spirit. While it promotes relaxation and acts as a cofactor for many enzymes, the benefits it provides are not as targeted for direct muscle recovery as most think. And spirit. Yet, due to marketing and widespread repetition, magnesium has become the default supplement recommendation for muscle soreness and nighttime recovery. Spirit. It's almost treated as if it's the one-stop solution. And spirit. Which leads to tunnel vision, where people rely too heavily on magnesium-based products and neglect nutrients that could actually boost their recovery far more efficiently. Spirit. This misconception might be holding many fitness enthusiasts back, especially those who train intensely and expect maximum recovery from one mineral alone. Spirit. What usually happens is that people take magnesium supplements before bed and assume they've covered their entire recovery needs. Spirit. But muscle repair requires multiple biochemical processes, and those processes depend on specific vitamins to convert amino acids into muscle fibers. And spirit. Repair microtears and support connective tissues. If those nutrients are lacking, magnesium alone cannot complete the job. Spirit. Think of recovery as a construction project. Magnesium may help create the ideal environment for workers to function, reducing stress and promoting relaxation. Spirit. But it is not the engineer or builder. The vitamins that support protein metabolism, collagen production, and tissue regeneration are like the actual workers. Spirit. Without them, no amount of magnesium can turn rest into real muscle growth. And spirit. People end up confused when they still feel sore or fatigued despite taking magnesium, because they expect results that magnesium alone is not designed to deliver. Spirit. Sleep quality may improve, but improved sleep does not automatically equal improved recovery if the raw materials needed for rebuilding are missing. Spirit. The overemphasis on magnesium also comes from the belief that because it helps reduce muscle cramps, it must also rebuild damaged fibers. Spirit. But those are different physiological processes. Preventing cramps does not equate to repairing or building muscle tissue. Spirit. Soreness after training is caused by microtears and inflammation, and addressing that requires nutrients involved in reducing oxidative stress. and synthesizing proteins and supporting the extracellular matrix. Vitamins like B6 and C are more closely tied to those mechanisms, and spirit, yet they rarely get the spotlight that magnesium does. Because of this, many people experience slow recovery, frequent soreness, spirit, and plateaued progress despite consistent supplementation. And spirit, they assume the issue is training intensity or sleep hours when the real reason may be nutritional imbalance. And spirit, fitness culture also tends to latch onto simple solutions. Magnesium is easy to promote because it connects to sleep, and sleep is universally understood, and spirit. But the science of muscle recovery is more complex. Protein synthesis relies on specific enzymes and coenzymes, spirit. Collagen repair depends on certain antioxidants, and reducing inflammation requires vitamins that combat free radicals, spirit. When those nutrients are overlooked or underconsumed, the body cannot fully utilize the recovery period during sleep. And spirit. So while magnesium prepares the body to rest, this restful state can only be truly productive if the necessary building blocks are present. And spirit. People unknowingly limit their progress by focusing solely on relaxation rather than repair. Spirit. Another reason magnesium gets so much attention is because deficiency symptoms are easy to feel: restlessness, cramps, and trouble sleeping. Spirit. So people notice immediate changes when they supplement. In contrast, the vitamins that support muscle repair work more subtly. And spirit. You might not feel a noticeable effect overnight, but over weeks and months, they dramatically influence recovery rate, joint strength, and injury resistance. Spirit. Because their results are gradual, they don't generate the same hype. Spirit. Supplements that offer quick perceived benefits often overshadow those that deliver long-term physiological improvements. Spirit. That's why many people take magnesium thinking it will enhance performance and recovery, not realizing they're leaving potential gains untapped. And spirit. Marketing also plays a major role. Magnesium supplements are easy to produce and sell, and the wellness industry pushes them hard. Meanwhile, spirit vitamins like B6 and C, which are available through common foods, don't hold the same profit potential. This creates a cycle where consumers are constantly reminded about magnesium's benefits, but rarely hear about vitamins that directly support muscle regeneration. Spirit. When information is biased toward profitability, people form beliefs that aren't necessarily aligned with scientific evidence. The narrative becomes skewed, and spirit. And magnesium is lifted onto a pedestal it doesn't entirely deserve. Culturally, the idea of a single miracle supplement is appealing. And spirit. People want a simple solution to recovery. Magnesium fills that role in the public mindset because it's familiar and easy to understand. And spirit. But recovery is multifaceted. Blood flow, nutrient delivery, hormonal balance, and cellular repair all intertwine. Without the proper vitamins, spirit, the muscles lack the resources they need to grow stronger during sleep, and relying solely on magnesium leaves major gaps in the recovery chain. Spirit. Another overlooked factor is timing. Many people take magnesium at night simply because it helps with sleep. Spirit. But they don't consider nutrient timing for the vitamins that drive recovery. The body's most active repair phase occurs during deep sleep. Spirit. When growth hormone levels peak. This is precisely when the nutrients that support protein synthesis and collagen formation should be present. Spirit. Magnesium alone doesn't drive those processes. It simply creates a conducive sleep environment. Without additional nutrients, spirit, the body can only do part of the job. The misconception surrounding magnesium isn't harmful, but it is limiting. Magnesium is beneficial of spirit, especially for sleep and relaxation, but it's not the primary driver of muscle growth. And spirit, when individuals start incorporating vitamins that actively contribute to rebuilding muscle and connective tissues, they often notice reduced soreness, and spirit, improved strength and faster recovery. The takeaway is not that magnesium is useless, far from it, and spirit, but that it shouldn't overshadow vitamins that work more directly on muscle repair during sleep. And spirit, vitamin B6 plays a major role in protein metabolism and helps convert nutrients into usable muscle fuel during sleep. Spirit, and understanding why this matters starts with recognizing what actually happens inside the body after a workout. And spirit. When you lift weights or do any form of resistance training, you create microscopic tears in your muscle fibers. These tears are not injuries, and spirit, they are signals. They tell the body to rebuild stronger tissue, and that rebuilding requires amino acids to be processed efficiently. And spirit, vitamin B6 is involved directly in the metabolism of proteins and amino acids. Spirit, meaning it helps break them down from the foods you eat and convert them into components that the body can use to repair and build muscle. And spirit, without sufficient B6, protein consumption doesn't translate into effective muscle development. And spirit, because the body struggles to convert those proteins into usable building blocks. And spirit, many people focus so much on how much protein they consume, but forget that the body needs certain vitamins to process that protein into actual muscle. And spirit, that's where B6 becomes crucial. Another important aspect of B6 is its role in neurotransmitter production. It helps create serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Spirit, which influence mood, sleep quality, and overall recovery. When your sleep is deeper and more restorative because these neurotransmitters are balanced. Spirit, the body has a better opportunity to engage in muscle repair. People often think recovery is only about physical processes, but mental relaxation and hormonal balance are equally important. B6 quietly supports these behind the scenes. And spirit, helping ensure that the sleep you get is not just long, but high quality and conducive to muscle repair. And spirit, if you fall asleep easily but don't reach deep stages of sleep, your muscles don't receive the full benefit of growth hormone release and tissue repair. And spirit, B6 contributes indirectly by creating the conditions for more effective recovery. Then there's its role in hemoglobin production. And spirit, which is tied to oxygen transport. Muscles require oxygen not only during workouts but also during repair. While you sleep, spirit oxygen is delivered to damaged tissue to facilitate recovery, and B6 helps the body form hemoglobin. And spirit, the protein in red blood cells responsible for carrying oxygen. If your oxygen delivery is inefficient, your muscles won't recover as quickly. Spirit, this means that even if you consume enough protein and rest sufficiently, the rebuilding process may be slower without optimal B6 levels. Spirit, the combination of protein metabolism and oxygen transport makes B6 a unique and powerful vitamin for nighttime recovery. Spirit, yet it is often overshadowed by other nutrients that get more publicity. B6 also plays a significant role in glycogen metabolism. Spirit, glycogen is the stored form of carbohydrates, and it acts as a fuel source for your muscles. After a workout, glycogen stores are depleted. Spirit, and restoring them is essential for next day performance and recovery. Vitamin B6 helps enzymes break down glycogen into glucose. And spirit, which can be used for energy or converted during the repair process. If you wake up tired, sluggish, or weak after a workout. And spirit, it might not just be lack of sleep, it could be inadequate glycogen restoration, which is influenced by B6 levels. Spirit, when your glycogen is replenished efficiently, you experience less fatigue and more strength in subsequent workouts, which contributes to long-term progress. Spirit, most people overlook B6 because its effects aren't immediately noticeable. And spirit, you don't feel an instant difference when you take it the way you might with caffeine or magnesium. Instead, the benefits appear in subtle but meaningful ways. Reduced soreness, improved strength gains, more consistent energy, and better mood. Over time, and spirit, these little improvements add up and can make a substantial difference in results. A person might work out regularly, eat high-protein meals, and spirit, and get adequate sleep, but still struggle to see progress simply because their body lacks the vitamin needed to process protein and support recovery. And spirit, when this deficiency is corrected, the body's ability to transform nutrition and rest into muscle development dramatically improves. And spirit, another reason B6 is particularly helpful at night, is because that's when protein synthesis peaks. During the day, your body focuses on movement, digestion, spirit, and physical activity. At night, it switches to repair mode. Growth hormone levels rise, and amino acids are directed toward rebuilding muscle fibers. Spirit, if B6 is present at this time, it helps accelerate the metabolic pathways that turn dietary protein and stored nutrients into muscle tissue. And spirit, taking B6 earlier in the day doesn't align as effectively with this physiological rhythm, which is why nighttime intake can offer an advantage. And spirit, combined with proper protein intake throughout the day, B6 can make the difference between slow, inconsistent muscle growth and noticeable progress. And spirit, The vitamin also plays a role in reducing inflammation. Intense workouts often trigger inflammation in muscles and connective tissues. And spirit, while some inflammation is necessary, it signals the body to repair. Excess inflammation can slow recovery and increase soreness. And spirit, B6 assists in managing this through its involvement in immune function and enzyme regulation. And spirit, this means that people who take B6 consistently may experience less discomfort after training, allowing them to maintain more consistent workout schedules. And spirit, reduced soreness is not only a comfort benefit but also a performance benefit. If you aren't sidelined by soreness, spirit, you can train more effectively and frequently, which contributes to long-term muscle development. Dietary sources of B6 include foods like poultry, fish, spirit, bananas, potatoes, chickpeas, and whole grains. Many people unknowingly consume insufficient levels. Spirit, especially if their diet lacks variety or leans heavily on processed foods. Supplementation can help bridge gaps. And spirit, but natural dietary intake provides additional nutrients that complement B6, such as other B vitamins that support metabolism. And spirit. Fitness enthusiasts often focus on protein powders and supplements, but neglect whole foods that contain vitamins responsible for enabling those proteins to work effectively. Spirit, a well-rounded diet complemented by strategic supplementation can ensure that your body receives enough B6 to support muscle recovery. And spirit, B6 also interacts with the vitamins and minerals in important ways. It works with magnesium to support nervous system function, but in recovery terms, spirit, it plays a more direct role. It assists with potassium and sodium balance, which affects muscle contraction and hydration. Hydration isn't just about water and spirit. It's about electrolyte balance, and B6 helps regulate the components that keep muscles functioning properly during and after workouts. There's spirit. This synergy means that B6 doesn't work alone, but it is a central part of a larger puzzle that influences muscle repair and growth. Ultimately, and spirit, the importance of B6 in protein metabolism, neurotransmitter production, hemoglobin synthesis, glycogen breakdown, inflammation regulation, and spirit, and sleep quality illustrates how foundational this vitamin is for anyone trying to build muscle or improve recovery. It may not be the most famous supplement, spirit, but its role is indispensable, especially at night when the body prioritizes repair and growth. Vitamin C supports collagen production, and spirit strengthens connective tissues and reduces oxidative stress from workouts. And to truly appreciate how important this is, spirit, you have to understand that muscle recovery isn't just about the muscle fibers themselves, but also the structures surrounding and supporting them. Spirit, collagen is the primary protein that forms the connective tissues in your body, including tendons, ligaments, spirit, and even the fascia that wraps around muscle fibers. When you train, these structures endure stress just as much as the muscle fibers do, and spirit, and sometimes even more. Every rep you perform places tension on the joints and connective tissues, and when these tissues are strong and resilient, spirit, they help transmit force efficiently, prevent injuries, and support muscle growth. Vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, spirit, acting as a cofactor for the enzymes that stabilize and form collagen fibers. Without adequate vitamin C, collagen production becomes inefficient, and spirit, which means repairing microtears in tendons and ligaments takes longer. This not only slows recovery, but also increases the risk of strains, sprains, and joint discomfort. Spirit. Most people think of vitamin C primarily as an immune system booster, spirit, but its importance in musculoskeletal health is far more impactful than is widely acknowledged. The immune benefits are just one piece of the picture. And spirit, after intense workouts, inflammation increases as the body responds to tissue damage. This inflammation is normal and necessary, and spirit, but excessive oxidative stress can slow recovery and increase soreness. Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant, meaning it neutralizes free radicals that accumulate during strenuous exercise. By reducing oxidative stress, and spirit, vitamin C allows the healing process to unfold more smoothly and efficiently. This means less lingering soreness, fewer setbacks, spirit, and better performance in subsequent training sessions. Spirit. Antioxidants like vitamin C support recovery not by eliminating inflammation completely, but by controlling it so the body can repair without being overwhelmed. And spirit. Another important aspect of vitamin C's role in recovery is its support for the immune system when the body is under stress. And spirit. Heavy training places a temporary strain on the immune system, making athletes more vulnerable to illness. Spirit, especially if they train frequently or intensely without adequate nutritional support. When the immune system is compromised, recovery is delayed. Spirit, and progress is hindered. Vitamin C helps maintain immune function and spirit, allowing the body to focus energy on rebuilding muscle and restoring connective tissues instead of fighting off infections. And spirit. A healthy immune system contributes to consistent training habits, and consistent training is key for long-term strength and muscle development. And spirit. Vitamin C also enhances the absorption of iron, a mineral essential for oxygen transport in the blood. Oxygen delivery is crucial for tissue repair, spirit energy production, and reducing fatigue. When iron absorption is optimized, more oxygen-rich blood reaches damaged areas, accelerating recovery. And spirit. This means vitamin C indirectly supports muscle repair by ensuring the body has adequate oxygenation during rest. Spirit. Many people don't connect vitamin C to oxygen delivery. Spirit. But this indirect benefit can significantly influence how quickly the body recovers from strenuous physical activity. Without sufficient oxygen, spirit, the repair process slows and fatigue lingers longer. So while vitamin C is not directly building muscle fibers and spirit, it is improving several physiological processes that allow muscle recovery to happen efficiently. Spirit. One of the most underrated roles of vitamin C is its ability to help stabilize and maintain cartilage. And spirit. Cartilage cushions the joints and absorbs shock during repetitive motion. And spirit. Athletes and fitness enthusiasts often focus on muscle soreness while ignoring joint stress. Over time, inadequate nutrition can degrade joint health and spirit, leading to discomfort, reduced mobility, or long-term injuries. Vitamin C supports the matrix that forms cartilage and helps maintain joint resilience. And spirit. When cartilage is healthy and strong, movements are smoother. Spirit. And the forces exerted during weightlifting or high-impact activities are distributed more evenly. This allows for safer and more effective training. Spirit. Timing matters when it comes to supplementing vitamin C, and nighttime intake offers unique advantages. During sleep, when the body enters deep restorative phases, growth hormone levels increase and tissue repair accelerates. Vitamin C and spirit, being an essential part of collagen synthesis and antioxidant defense, becomes especially useful during this period. And spirit. Taking it before bed ensures that the body has enough of the nutrient available during the time when repair processes are most active. Spirit. Many people take vitamin C during the day, which isn't wrong, but aligning supplementation with the body's natural repair cycle can amplify benefits. Spirit. The nighttime window is crucial because the body prioritizes regeneration while you sleep, and vitamin C supports every step of that process. Spirit foods rich in vitamin C, such as oranges, lemons, strawberries, kiwi, bell peppers, and leafy greens, and spirit, offer accessible ways to incorporate this nutrient into daily meals. However, and spirit, people who rely heavily on processed foods or have limited fruit and vegetable intake may not meet optimal levels. Spirit, while deficiency in modern diets is less common than in the past, suboptimal intake is widespread and affects recovery more than people realize. And spirit supplementation can help, especially for those who train intensely or struggle to consume enough vitamin C through food alone. Unlike some nutrients and spirit, vitamin C is water-soluble, which means it isn't stored in the body for long periods. And spirit. Consistent intake is necessary to maintain effective levels for recovery and connective tissue support. Spirit. There's also a direct connection between vitamin C and skin, bone and blood vessel health. Spirit. All of which play indirect but essential roles in fitness and strength. Strong blood vessels ensure efficient nutrient delivery and spirit, and bone structure supports muscle attachment and force production. Vitamin C contributes to these structural elements, spirit, making the body more robust and resilient overall. A strong musculoskeletal foundation means you can handle heavier loads with less risk, spirit. Enabling greater progress in resistance training. Many people underestimate how slow recovery can be when vitamin C levels are inadequate. Spirit. They attribute prolonged soreness, joint stiffness, or recurring minor injuries to overtraining or age, when nutrient deficiencies may be the underlying cause. Spirit. When vitamin C intake improves, recovery accelerates, soreness decreases, and connective tissues stabilize, allowing for more intense and frequent training. Spirit. This is especially important as people age, because natural collagen production declines. Spirit. Supplementing vitamin C helps counteract that decline and maintain joint and tendon strength, which supports long-term physical activity and performance. And Spirit, the combination of antioxidant defense, tissue repair, collagen synthesis, immune support, and Spirit, and improved nutrient absorption makes vitamin C an essential part of any muscle recovery strategy. Spirit. It doesn't receive as much attention as protein or magnesium because its effects are indirect and gradual rather than immediate. Spirit. But these indirect effects are foundational, and without them, recovery cannot reach its full potential. And Spirit. Real progress in muscle development comes not just from stimulating growth in the gym, but also from providing the body with the tools it needs to rebuild stronger structures during rest. And Spirit, vitamin C is one of those tools, quietly reinforcing the connective tissues, reducing oxidative damage. Spirit, and supporting the immune system so recovery can unfold efficiently. And Spirit, taking these vitamins at night aligns with the body's natural repair cycle and increases muscle recovery efficiency. Spirit. And to understand why this timing matters so much, we first have to look at what the body prioritizes during sleep. When you go to bed, and Spirit, particularly once you enter deep sleep stages, your body shifts from active mode to recovery mode. Heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, and Spirit and energy that is usually used for movement and digestion is redirected towards cellular repair. This is when growth hormone levels surge. Spirit. Protein synthesis accelerates, and damaged muscle fibers begin to mend. If these vitamins are present in the system during this window, Spirit, they're readily available to support the rebuilding process. Spirit, rather than being metabolized at times when the body is more focused on activity rather than repair during the day. Spirit. Your body processes nutrients differently. It prioritizes immediate energy needs, cognitive function, movement, and digestion. Spirit. When you take vitamins during the morning or early afternoon, Spirit, a significant portion of their potential may be directed toward those daytime functions rather than repair and regeneration. By nighttime, however, and Spirit, digestion slows and the body shifts into a restorative state. Nutrients consumed at night do not compete as heavily with daytime demands. Spirit, meaning they are more likely to be used for repair rather than energy conversion. For athletes or fitness enthusiasts, and Spirit, this means the same vitamin taken at night can have a more targeted impact than if taken earlier in the day. And Spirit, muscle recovery isn't just about fixing microtears. It involves restoring glycogen stores, repairing connective tissue, balancing electrolytes. And Spirit, and reducing oxidative stress. All of these processes peak during sleep. Vitamins that support collagen synthesis, protein metabolism, and Spirit, and immune function can therefore capitalize on this timing. When you supplement at night, Spirit, you are aligning nutrient availability with the body's natural biological rhythms. Instead of forcing the body to divide nutrients between energy needs and repair needs, you're providing them when the body is already in full repair mode. And Spirit, this synergy increases efficiency because nutrients don't go to waste on functions unrelated to muscle recovery. Spirit. Another reason nighttime supplementation works so effectively is because sleep creates hormonal conditions ideal for recovery. Growth hormone, for example, Spirit, reaches its highest levels during deep sleep. Growth hormone stimulates protein synthesis and cell reproduction, Spirit, which are essential for rebuilding muscle tissue. When vitamins that support these functions are present, they enhance the effects of growth hormone. And Spirit. Conversely, if vitamin levels are low during this window, the body's best chance to maximize muscle repair passes without adequate nutritional support. Spirit. Timing supplementation to coincide with hormonal peaks allows the body to utilize nutrients more effectively. Spirit, reducing recovery time and supporting long-term strength gains. In addition to growth hormone, cortisol levels naturally decrease at night. Spirit. Cortisol is a stress hormone that can interfere with muscle repair when levels are elevated. Lower cortisol allows the body to repair without interference. and spirit, and providing vitamins during this phase helps support tissue rebuilding and nutrient absorption. Period. If you take vitamins earlier in the day when cortisol levels are higher, the anti-catabolic benefits may be diminished. And spirit. Vitamin timing, therefore, isn't only about enhancing repair, but also about minimizing interference from hormones that can slow down recovery. And spirit. Sleep also alters blood flow patterns. During deep rest, blood flow increases to the muscles, delivering oxygen and nutrients directly to damaged tissues. Spirit. This is crucial because without adequate blood flow, nutrients cannot reach the areas where repair is needed. Spirit. Taking vitamins at night ensures that they enter the bloodstream at the same time circulation to muscles is highest, allowing more efficient delivery. Spirit. During the day, blood flow is distributed across active muscles, organs, and the brain, so nutrient delivery is less concentrated. Period. The synchronization of nutrient availability and increased muscle blood flow maximizes recovery efficiency and minimizes the wasted potential of those nutrients. And spirit. A lot of people assume that timing doesn't matter as long as they consume the right nutrients. Spirit. But timing is crucial because the body operates on circadian rhythms that control metabolic processes. These rhythms determine when the body digests food. And spirit. When hormones are released and when repair is prioritized. Ignoring these rhythms is like trying to build a house when construction workers aren't on site. Spirit. You might have all the tools and materials, but without the workers, nothing gets done. Taking vitamins at night, in contrast, and spirit, ensures that the workers and materials arrive at the same time, speeding up the rebuilding process and improving the final result. And spirit. Nighttime supplementation also reduces nutrient competition. When you take vitamins in the morning with other foods or supplements, and spirit, they may compete for absorption. Some nutrients interfere with each other or reduce uptake when taken alongside certain minerals or dietary components. Spirit. At night, especially when taken on a relatively empty stomach or with a light snack. Spirit. Vitamins can be absorbed more efficiently because there are fewer competing nutrients. Spirit. Better absorption means more vitamins available for the body to use during recovery. And spirit. This improved absorption combines with the body's natural repair cycle to create a powerful synergy that daytime supplementation struggles to match. Spirit. It's also worth considering that many people experience gastrointestinal discomfort or reduced absorption efficiency during the day due to stress. And spirit, caffeine intake or physical activity. At night, the digestive system slows and settles, allowing for calmer, steadier absorption. And spirit, when digestion isn't rushed or overloaded, vitamins can be processed more effectively. And spirit, slower digestion means nutrients remain available in the bloodstream for longer periods, coinciding perfectly with the prolonged recovery window of sleep. And spirit, this slow release effect helps sustain muscle repair throughout the night, rather than just providing a short burst of nutrients. Spirit. People who take vitamins at night often report feeling more rested, less sore, and more energized in the morning. And spirit. Not because the vitamins improve sleep directly, but because they support the recovery mechanisms that happen while asleep. And spirit. This creates a noticeable difference in next day performance. When muscles repair efficiently, training sessions can resume sooner and with greater strength. And spirit. Over time, this leads to better progress, fewer injuries, and improved consistency. Consistency is one of the most important factors in muscle development. Spirit. And nighttime supplementation supports it by minimizing downtime due to soreness or fatigue. And spirit. Nighttime vitamin intake can also benefit individuals who struggle with late night cravings or hunger. Certain vitamins support neurotransmitter function. And spirit, which can help regulate appetite and mood. This helps prevent late night snacking, which can interfere with sleep quality and digestion. And spirit. Better sleep and less late night eating further enhance recovery because the body can focus fully on repair instead of digestion. Again, spirit. This doesn't mean vitamins are a magic fix, but when timed properly, they work with the body's natural processes rather than against them. Overall, spirit. Taking vitamins at night creates a perfect storm of physiological alignment, hormonal peaks, increased blood flow, decreased cortisol, improved absorption, spirit, reduced nutrient competition, and slower digestion, all converge to make nighttime the optimal window for recovery, focused supplementation. Spirit. While many people believe timing doesn't matter, those who align vitamin intake with the body's inherent repair schedule experience more efficient recovery. And spirit. Better long-term strength gains and less soreness because they are using the body's natural rhythms instead of ignoring them. Spirit. Sleep is the prime window for muscle repair, tissue rebuilding, and hormone release, making nighttime supplementation crucial. Spirit. And to understand why this window is so important, we need to look closely at what the body actually does while you're asleep. During waking hours. And spirit. Your body is constantly using energy to support movement, thinking, digestion, and stress responses. And spirit. All of these processes demand resources and prioritize immediate survival and function. But when you fall asleep, and spirit, especially when you enter deep and REM sleep stages, your body begins shifting those resources away from external tasks and instead focuses inward. And spirit. Muscles that were strained during exercise begin repairing microtears. Immune function becomes more active in removing damaged cells and waste products. And spirit. And the endocrine system ramps up the release of growth hormone, which is one of the most critical components of muscle recovery. And spirit. This hormonal surge does not occur with the same intensity during the day, which means sleep is not just a passive state of rest and spirit, but an active and highly coordinated rebuilding phase. And spirit. Most people tend to overlook the fact that muscle growth does not happen while lifting weights. During exercise, muscle fibers are broken down, and spirit, glycogen, is depleted, and tissues undergo stress. This stress is necessary. It sends the signal for growth. Spirit. But the actual rebuilding and strengthening occur afterward, and the majority of that process takes place at night. When you sleep, spirit, your body is not distracted by digestion, physical exertion, or mental activity, so more blood flow is directed to muscle tissues. And spirit. Increased blood flow delivers oxygen, amino acids, glucose, and other nutrients that are needed to repair and rebuild. And spirit. This redistribution of resources doesn't happen as efficiently while you're awake. So even if someone trains intensely and eats well, and spirit, if they lack quality sleep, the body cannot capitalize on those efforts. Hormones are one of the biggest reasons sleep is the prime recovery window. And spirit. Growth hormone levels spike during deep sleep, and this hormone plays a direct role in protein synthesis, cellular repair, and fat metabolism. Spirit. Without adequate growth hormone release, recovery is slower, soreness lasts longer, and muscle growth becomes limited. Testosterone levels, spirit, which also influence muscle development and strength, peak during sleep as well. These hormones work synergistically to drive anabolism. Spirit, the biological process of building tissues. When sleep is reduced, interrupted, or poor quality, these hormonal peaks shrink. Spirit, and the body's ability to repair and grow declines significantly. And spirit. Supplementation at night helps ensure the necessary building blocks are available when the hormonal environment is most favorable for recovery. Cortisol and spirit. The stress hormone also plays a major role in this equation. Cortisol levels generally decrease during sleep, spirit, and lower cortisol levels promote repair because cortisol is catabolic, meaning it breaks down tissue. And spirit. High cortisol interferes with muscle synthesis and increases inflammation. When sleep is inadequate or disrupted, cortisol remains elevated longer, and spirit, making recovery slower and increasing the risk of muscle breakdown. And spirit. Quality sleep, therefore, not only enhances growth processes, but also minimizes interference from stress hormones. Spirit. This balance between high growth hormone and low cortisol creates the ideal environment for tissue recovery. Spirit. And supplementation during this window supports that environment by supplying nutrients at the right time. Sleep also helps regulate inflammation. Spirit. After an intense workout, inflammation rises as part of the repair process. While some inflammation is necessary, spirit, prolonged or excessive inflammation can hinder recovery. During sleep and spirit, the immune system becomes more active in repairing damage and clearing out waste byproducts. This cleanup process helps reduce soreness, and spirit supports tissue rebuilding and prepares the body for another training session. Without sleep, And spirit, the inflammatory response may remain elevated longer than needed, causing prolonged soreness and slower progress. And spirit, nutrients that reduce oxidative stress or support tissue restoration become even more effective when paired with sleep and spirit, which is why nighttime supplementation works so well in tandem with recovery-friendly hormonal and cellular conditions. And spirit, glycogen replenishment also occurs during sleep. After exercise, the body must restore glycogen stores in muscle tissue, spirit, which are essential for energy production. Without sufficient glycogen, muscle performance drops, fatigue sets in faster, and workouts suffer. And spirit, although glycogen can be restored throughout the day, sleep allows the body to focus on replenishing these stores more efficiently. Hence spirits, because digestion slows, blood flow patterns change, and insulin sensitivity increases. And spirit, vitamins and nutrients that support glycogen synthesis and metabolism become more effective during this period of repair. Spirit, adding proper supplementation before sleep ensures that the raw materials for rebuilding glycogen are available right when the body is most prepared to use them. And spirit, it's also important to acknowledge that sleep supports the nervous system, which is just as crucial to strength and performance as muscle tissue itself. Spirit, heavy training stresses not only muscles, but also the central nervous system. The nervous system needs sleep to recover, recalibrate neurotransmitters, and spirit, and restore motor function. Better sleep leads to improved coordination, reaction times, and neural drive, spirit, all of which affect lifting performance and progress. When the nervous system is fatigued, spirit, muscles may not be able to exert full power, even if they are physically recovered, spirit. Supplementation that supports neurotransmitter balance can pair well with sleep to enhance this neural recovery. Taken together, these processes and spirit, hormonal changes, glycogen replenishment, collagen repair, immune function, and nervous system restoration, spirit create a comprehensive recovery environment that cannot be replicated while awake. Many people focus only on training intensity or protein intake, spirit, believing those are the primary drivers of muscle growth. But without sleep, those inputs lose much of their effectiveness. Spirit, sleep multiplies the benefits of nutrients by allowing them to be used for repair rather than diverted toward energy or stress responses. And spirit, that is why taking certain vitamins at night rather than in the morning can significantly improve results. Spirit, you are placing the nutrients into the system at the exact time when the body is primed to use them most efficiently. And spirit, nighttime supplementation doesn't mean that daytime intake becomes irrelevant, but rather that certain nutrients provide more benefit when timed strategically. Spirit, for example, antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress are more effective when delivered during the period when the immune system is clearing damaged cells. Spirit, vitamins involved in collagen synthesis are more useful when connective tissue rebuilding is in progress. And spirit, nutrients that support protein metabolism matter most when protein synthesis is active. And spirit, this alignment between timing and physiological processes is what makes sleep such a powerful recovery window and why nighttime supplementation can amplify outcomes. Spirit, many people underestimate just how transformative this can be. Someone who trains hard, eats well, but sleeps poorly may feel constantly sore, fatigued, and spirit, or stuck in a plateau. Meanwhile, someone who trains moderately but sleeps deeply with proper nutrition may see steady progress. Spirit, the difference often isn't effort, it's timing and recovery quality. And spirit, by treating sleep not just as a break from training, but as a critical part of training itself, athletes and fitness enthusiasts can maximize gains, and spirit, reduce injuries, and support long-term progress. When you think about muscle soreness after a workout, and spirit, you probably imagine waking up the next morning and feeling those tight, stiff muscles protesting every movement. Spirit, and it's during those tough mornings that you start to understand why recovery matters so much. And spirit, because that soreness is basically your body's way of telling you that the muscle fibers experience stress, tiny tears, and metabolic fatigue. And spirit, which is completely normal, especially after a challenging session, but it's the process of repairing those fibers that actually leads to muscle growth. Spirit, and while many people look to trendy supplements or focus solely on protein shakes, spirit, one nutrient that doesn't always get the spotlight but plays a surprisingly important role is vitamin B6. Spirit, which works quietly behind the scenes during the recovery window to reduce soreness, support muscle repair, and help your body get back to optimal performance. And spirit. And what makes this particularly interesting is that B6 isn't just about rebuilding muscle structurally and spirit, but also about reducing the discomfort that comes from fatigue, lactic acid buildup, and inflammation, and spirit, because soreness can derail a training plan faster than almost anything else, causing you to skip workouts, lower intensity, and spirit, or feel discouraged when your body doesn't seem ready to perform at your best. Spirit. And B6 helps address that by supporting your body's ability to metabolize protein, meaning the nutrients you consume actually get used efficiently. Spirit. Rather than sitting in your system without being maximized, which is a hidden issue many people never even consider. And spirit, because you can be eating plenty of protein and still not getting the recovery benefits you expect if you don't have sufficient B6. Spirit. And this vitamin acts almost like a facilitator, taking raw nutrients and helping your body turn them into usable material for rebuilding muscle fibers. And spirit, which directly influences how quickly soreness decreases and how soon you feel ready to train again and when your body can rebuild faster. And spirit, soreness tends to fade sooner because the repair process replaces damaged fibers and reduces the inflammatory signals that bring on that achy, heavy feeling. Spirit. And beyond that, B6 plays a role in neurotransmitter synthesis, including serotonin and dopamine, which indirectly influence sleep quality and mood. Spirit. And as most athletes and fitness enthusiasts know, sleep is when the majority of muscle repair happens. Period. So combining B6 metabolic influence with improved sleep quality creates a double benefit. Period. Supporting recovery from both a biochemical and a physiological standpoint. And to understand why this matters, you can picture two scenarios. And spirit. One where someone trains hard, goes home, eats enough protein but lacks B6, and the recovery is slow, inconsistent, and soreness lingers longer than expected. And spirit. Then another scenario where the same workout is supported by optimal B6 intake. Spirit. Leading to nutrients being broken down and utilized more efficiently, and the repair process progressing at a smoother pace. And spirit. And that reduction in soreness isn't just about comfort, it also affects motivation, performance, and progression. Spirit. Because when soreness is overwhelming or persistent, people tend to avoid pushing themselves, skip sessions, or shorten workouts, which stalls progress. And spirit. This is why B6's role in reducing muscle soreness becomes more impactful than many people realize, especially for those who are either new to training. And spirit. Increasing intensity or frequently pushing their limits. And while supplements can help, many people don't realize that food sources such as bananas, chicken, and spirit, chickpeas, fish, and potatoes contain valuable amounts of B6, making it possible to support recovery through dietary choices. And spirit. And when you combine regular intake with nighttime supplementation, you give your muscles access to the tools they need during the prime repair window. And spirit, which is overnight, when your body naturally prioritizes rebuilding and restoring damaged tissues, meaning B6 can enhance processes that are already happening. And spirit, not force new ones, which is why it feels so effective. And another overlooked aspect is how B6 influences glycogen breakdown and energy metabolism. And spirit, because soreness isn't caused only by tearing fibers, it also comes from metabolic byproducts and muscle fatigue. Spirit, and by helping the body process and utilize energy more efficiently. Spirit. B6 can reduce the buildup of metabolic waste that contributes to discomfort and delayed recovery. Spirit. And if you think about those days when you can barely climb stairs or sit down after squats. And spirit, the fatigue and soreness are partly structural, but also partly biochemical, which makes B6's role even more relevant. And people who train regularly, period, especially in strength or endurance sports, often require higher levels of B6 than sedentary individuals. And spirit, which is why athletes tend to benefit more dramatically from proper intake. And when B6 levels are optimal, spirit, the body can better regulate inflammation and muscle soreness, and you notice the difference not just in how you feel physically and spirit, but also in how consistently you can train, which is one of the biggest drivers of achieving long-term results. And spirit, because muscle growth comes from repeated stimulus and effective recovery, not just one explosive session. And when soreness is minimized, Spirit. You can maintain your schedule, apply progressive overload, and see steady improvement rather than constantly slowing down or recovering poorly. And spirit. And another compelling factor is how B6 interacts with amino acid metabolism, because without proper enzymatic support, spirit, the amino acids that are supposed to repair muscle tissues may not be converted efficiently, making recovery slower and less effective. And spirit. And most people never realize this because they assume soreness simply reflects how hard they worked, when in reality, and spirit, soreness that stays long past the expected window can signal nutritional inefficiency rather than intensity. And by addressing B6 intake and spirit, you're not masking soreness, but supporting the underlying processes that reduce it naturally. Spirit. And this isn't something that only bodybuilders or elite athletes need to care about, because everyday gym goers, beginners, spirit, and even people who engage in physically demanding jobs can benefit from reduced soreness, faster recovery, and improved comfort. And spirit. And it's often the simplest nutritional adjustments that lead to the biggest changes. Spirit. Especially when they align with how the body naturally recovers during sleep. And spirit. Making nighttime intake a strategic choice rather than just another supplement routine. Vitamin C is often praised for immune support. Spirit. But when you look deeper into the science of muscle building and performance, its role goes far beyond fighting off a cold. Spirit. And one of the most underrated benefits is how essential it is for supporting joints and connective tissues. And spirit, which are just as important as muscle fibers themselves when it comes to strength, endurance, flexibility, and injury prevention. And spirit, because building muscle isn't only about adding size, it's also about maintaining the structures that keep those muscles stable, mobile, spirit, and resilient under stress. Most people focus only on the muscle itself, spirit. But tendons and ligaments are the tissues that attach muscle to bone and stabilize movement. And if those structures are weak or inflamed, and spirit, you can experience pain, stiffness, or even serious injuries that derail progress. And that's where vitamin C truly shines. And spirit, because it plays a central role in collagen synthesis, which is the building block of connective tissue, providing strength, elasticity, and spirit, and durability to the joint system that supports every lift, stride, or athletic movement. When you break it down, spirit. Muscle growth is only one piece of the performance puzzle, and unless joints and connective tissues can handle the stress of progressive overload, spirit, the risk of injuries increases dramatically, especially for people who train regularly or challenge their bodies with high impact or high resistance workouts. And spirit, vitamin C strengthens those connective structures, helping them withstand repetitive strain and heavy loads. Spirit, meaning you can train harder and more consistently without experiencing the setbacks that come from joint pain, ligament sprains, or tendon irritation. And spirit, every squat, bench press, run, or jump puts pressure on these tissues, and while muscles may recover quickly, and spirit, tendons and ligaments can take much longer to heal if they're not properly supported. Spirit, which is why vitamin C becomes a quiet but powerful ally in long-term training sustainability. Spirit. Beyond its contribution to collagen, vitamin C also acts as a potent antioxidant. And spirit, which means it helps neutralize free radicals generated during intense physical activity. And spirit, because workouts create oxidative stress as part of the natural metabolic process, and while some of that stress is useful for adaptation. Excessive oxidative damage can slow down recovery, weaken tissues, and prolong soreness or inflammation. By limiting oxidative damage, and spirit, vitamin C helps maintain healthier cells and reduces inflammation in muscles and connective tissues, making your recovery smoother and more efficient. And spirit, this is especially important after high-intensity training like heavy lifting, sprinting, or long endurance sessions. Spirit, because those workouts create more metabolic waste and oxidative stress than light exercise. When vitamin C levels are optimal, and spirit, these harmful byproducts are managed more effectively, giving the body a better environment for repair and rebuilding. Spirit. Another key point is that connective tissue health isn't only about performance, it's also about comfort and mobility, because when your joints feel stiff, spirit, achy or inflamed, it affects not only your workouts but everyday movement. And vitamin C helps maintain lubrication and structural integrity in joint tissues. And spirit, making movement smoother and more comfortable, which means less irritation, fewer setbacks, and more consistent progress. And spirit. Most people underestimate how much of their training success depends on joint health, because you can have strong muscles but still struggle with tendonitis, spirit, ligament strain, or cartilage discomfort if your connective tissues are neglected. And that's why focusing only on protein, creatine, spirit, or other muscle-focused supplements misses the bigger picture. Spirit. Vitamin C helps address that missing piece by supporting the tissues that allow muscles to work effectively without pain or instability. Spirit. And the benefits don't stop with building or repairing connective tissue. Vitamin C is also involved in the formation of cartilage. And spirit. Another vital component in joint cushioning and shock absorption. Without adequate vitamin C, the ability to rebuild and maintain healthy cartilage declines. And spirit. Making joints more vulnerable to wear and tear, especially with repetitive movements like running or squatting. In addition, and spirit. Vitamin C supports the immune system, which may seem unrelated to muscle building at first, but when the immune system is functioning well, and spirit, your body can dedicate more resources to recovery and repair rather than dividing energy between healing and fighting off illness. Spirit. That means fewer interruptions to your training schedule and better overall resilience. Spirit. A fascinating aspect of vitamin C is that it also enhances iron absorption, and iron is essential for oxygen transport in the blood through hemoglobin. And spirit, which affects endurance, strength output, and muscle function. When muscles receive adequate oxygen, they can perform more efficiently, fatigue less quickly, and spirit and recover better afterward. So not only does vitamin C support connective tissues and fight oxidative stress, spirit, but it also indirectly helps maintain energy production during workouts by ensuring iron is readily absorbed. And spirit, especially for individuals who rely on plant-based diets where iron absorption can be lower. And spirit. Another overlooked benefit is that vitamin C helps regulate cortisol, the stress hormone that increases after intense exercise. And spirit. While cortisol is a normal part of the stress response, excess cortisol can interfere with muscle recovery, increase inflammation, and slow down tissue repair. Vitamin C helps buffer cortisol levels post-workout. And spirit, supporting a calmer physiological state that promotes more effective recovery and reduces tension in muscles and joints. And spirit, many athletes and active individuals experience joint issues because they push their bodies hard but don't support their connective tissues with proper nutrition. And spirit, and vitamin C is one of the simplest yet most effective nutrients for addressing this gap. It's found in a wide range of foods like citrus fruits, berries, and spirit, bell peppers, kiwi, pineapple, broccoli, and leafy greens, which makes it easy to incorporate into a diet without complicated supplementation. However, spirit, for those with higher demands, such as heavy lifters, endurance athletes, or older adults, supplementation can be beneficial to ensure optimal intake. Spirit, especially at night when collagen formation and connective tissue repair are most active during sleep. And spirit. Training consistency is one of the biggest predictors of long-term progress, and vitamin C supports that consistency by helping prevent injuries. And spirit. Reduce recovery time and maintain joint comfort, allowing athletes to train week after week without being sidelined. When connective tissue is strong, spirit. Workouts feel smoother, lifts feel more stable, and there's greater confidence in movement. And spirit, which not only boosts performance but also reduces the fear or hesitation that can come from joint discomfort. And spirit. So while vitamin C may seem like a simple vitamin, its impact on joint health, connective strength, antioxidant protection, iron absorption, and spirit, cortisol regulation, and recovery makes it an incredibly powerful component of a muscle building strategy. And spirit. When you look at how vitamin B6 and vitamin C operate in the body, it becomes clear that their benefits extend far beyond their individual roles. And spirit, because together they create a kind of synergistic support system that influences both the internal biochemical processes and the physical structural components of muscle recovery. Spirit. And this is where many people miss the bigger picture. And spirit, focusing only on single supplements rather than the combination effects that happen when nutrients support each other, especially at night when the body is already in repair mode. Vitamin B6 helps metabolize protein and amino acids and spirit, meaning it facilitates the breakdown and conversion of dietary protein into the building blocks needed for muscle repair, and without it, spirit, the muscle rebuilding process is hindered, even if you're consuming enough protein, because your body can't efficiently use what it has. On the other hand, spirit, vitamin C significantly impacts the physical structure of your muscles, tendons, ligaments, and connective tissues through its role in collagen synthesis, and spirit, which provides tensile strength and elasticity to those tissues. When these two vitamins are present together, spirit, one strengthens internal metabolic processes and the other reinforces structural integrity, creating a balanced and more complete recovery environment. And spirit. To understand why this combination is so powerful, imagine the body like a construction site. Spirit. Vitamin B6 provides the workers and tools to convert raw materials into usable parts, while vitamin C supplies the scaffolding, beams, and spirit, and binding agents that reinforce the physical structure. Without workers, the project doesn't get built, and without proper materials and reinforcements, spirit, the structure collapses. That's exactly what happens when recovery focuses only on muscle fibers while ignoring connective tissues, spirit, or when protein intake is emphasized without ensuring the metabolic support needed for assimilation, spirit. This synergy becomes even more important for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who place regular strain on their muscles and joints, spirit, because the repeated breakdown and repair cycles demand not just strong muscles, but also durable connective tissue and efficient nutrient absorption. Spirit. A muscle can only perform as well as the connective tissue supporting it, and spirit. And that's why supplementing these vitamins together during the body's natural repair window enhances overall performance outcomes more than using either one alone. Spirit. Another important point about this synergy is that muscle growth doesn't happen in isolation, and recovery involves multiple systems simultaneously, and spirit, such as hormonal balance, oxidative stress management, tissue repair, and protein synthesis. And spirit, vitamin B6 influences neurotransmitter production and helps regulate sleep quality, and spirit, which is crucial because sleep is the most active period for tissue repair and muscle protein synthesis. And spirit, vitamin C reduces oxidative stress and inflammation from training, allowing tissues to rebuild in a cleaner, less inflamed environment. Spirit. When inflammation is under control and protein metabolism is optimized, recovery becomes faster and more efficient, reducing soreness and fatigue. And spirit. This allows for more consistent training because the body is prepared to handle the next workout sooner. Consistency is a huge factor in achieving results. Spirit, and anything that reduces downtime between workouts has a direct impact on progress. There's also hormonal synergy here, because vitamin B6 influences hormones involved in muscle repair and stress regulation, while vitamin C helps manage cortisol, spirit, which is elevated after intense exercise. High cortisol levels can interfere with muscle repair, reduce protein synthesis, and even promote muscle breakdown. Spirit. So vitamin C helps buffer those effects, allowing vitamin B6 supported protein metabolism to go further. In other words, while B6 helps build, spirit, C helps protect, and together they support not only the building of muscle, but also the prevention of unnecessary tissue breakdown. And spirit. This kind of two-sided approach, support and protection, is exactly why their synergy matters. From a physiological standpoint, the synergy extends to energy systems too. Vitamin B6 is essential for glycogen breakdown and energy metabolism, while vitamin C enhances iron absorption and spirit, supporting oxygen transport in the blood. Better oxygen delivery means muscles receive more fuel during workouts, spirit, resulting in less fatigue and more efficient recovery post-workout. When energy metabolism and oxygen delivery are optimized, spirit, recovery isn't just faster but also more complete, reducing the risk of partial healing or lingering tension in tissues. Spirit, which can eventually lead to injuries. If you look at athletes or even casual gym goers who struggle with joint pain, frequent soreness, or slow recovery, and spirit, it's often not because they train too hard, but because their nutrient intake doesn't fully support the multiple layers of recovery needed. and spirit. Many people consume plenty of protein, maybe even magnesium or creatine, and spirit, but overlook the vitamins that convert those nutrients into usable forms and strengthen structural components, and spirit. And this is why joint pain or tendon irritation can occur even when muscles feel fine. Vitamin C's role in collagen supports those connective tissues, spirit, while B6 ensures the muscle fibers attached to them repair efficiently. So rather than focusing on just building bigger muscles, spirit, this synergy supports building stronger and more resilient muscles that are anchored by equally resilient connective tissues. Spirit, the synergy also shows up in long-term training sustainability. Anyone who has trained consistently knows that injuries, not lack of motivation, spirit, are often the biggest obstacles. A muscle tear heals faster if the surrounding connective tissue is strong, spirit, and tendon strain is less likely if those tissues have proper collagen support, and spirit, and a muscle fiber's microdamage repairs more efficiently when protein metabolism pathways are optimized. So, spirit, the DO not only supports rebuilding but helps prevent breakdown, which is a core concept often ignored in supplement discussions. And spirit, even diet highlights this synergy because many foods rich in vitamin C also contain nutrients that complement B6 functions and vice versa. Citrus fruits, spirit, berries, and peppers pair well with B6-rich foods like bananas, chicken, and legumes. When combined in meals, spirit, these nutrients overlap in their absorption windows, maximizing usage, and spirit. And taking them at night aligns perfectly with the body's natural circadian-driven repair cycle, and spirit. So the real power of these vitamins is not just what they do individually, and spirit, but how they work together to create an internal and external support system for muscle growth, recovery, joint strength, connective tissue durability, and spirit, protein metabolism, inflammation control, sleep quality, and overall training longevity, and spirit, making them essential partners in rebuilding muscle and protecting the structures that hold that muscle in place. Spirit. Recovery is where muscle gains actually happen, not during the workout itself, and spirit. And this is a concept that many people completely misunderstand because the excitement and immediate feedback of lifting heavier weights or completing a challenging workout can make it feel like progress occurs in the gym. Spirit. But the truth is that all the physical stress, tearing, and fatigue induced by exercise are simply the signals that tell the body it needs to rebuild, adapt, and spirit, and grow stronger. And without adequate recovery, those signals cannot translate into tangible gains, which is why nutrition, rest, spirit, and timing become just as important, if not more so, than the workout itself. During training, muscle fibers experience microtears, and spirit glycogen stores are depleted, connective tissues are stressed, and inflammatory pathways are activated. And while this might feel exhausting or even painful, spirit, it is the body's way of priming itself for adaptation. However, the rebuilding, reinforcement, and strengthening processes that actually create bigger, spirit, stronger, and more resilient muscles occur afterward when the body has the resources, hormonal environment, and energy to prioritize repair and spirit. And this is why so many people who focus solely on intensity or volume often plateau. They are maximizing stimulus without maximizing recovery. Spirit. Recovery is multifaceted, involving sleep, nutrient availability, hormonal balance, and the resolution of inflammation, spirit. And all these elements work together to convert the temporary breakdown of tissue during exercise into long-term improvements in strength, endurance, and spirit, and muscle mass. Muscle protein synthesis, which is the cellular process that builds new muscle tissue, occurs predominantly outside the gym, spirit, and peaks during periods of rest, particularly deep sleep. Hormones such as growth hormone and testosterone, which are critical for muscle growth, and spirit are released in higher concentrations during sleep, creating a window of opportunity where the body is primed to use nutrients to repair and build tissue, spirit. And without sufficient rest or proper nutrition during this window, the stimulus from your workout may not be fully realized, and spirit, meaning the body's adaptive response is limited and gains are slower than they could be. The role of nutrients in recovery cannot be overstated because exercise depletes key amino acids, antioxidants, and cofactors that are needed for repair. Vitamins like B6 support protein metabolism. Spirit, ensuring that amino acids from dietary protein are effectively converted into muscle tissue. Vitamin C supports collagen synthesis. Spirit, reinforcing connective tissues such as tendons and ligaments, which are crucial for transmitting force and preventing injuries. And spirit, when these nutrients are available during the recovery period, particularly at night when repair processes peak. And spirit, the body can more efficiently rebuild not only muscle fibers but also the supporting structures that enable movement and strength. Neglecting these nutrients, spirit, or consuming them at suboptimal times limits the body's ability to capitalize on the stimulus from the workout. Spirit. And that is why many people feel like they train hard but don't see proportional results. Sleep quality and quantity are equally critical to recovery. And spirit, during deep sleep stages, blood flow is redirected towards skeletal muscles, bringing oxygen, amino acids, and spirit, and other nutrients directly to the tissues that need repair. At the same time, catabolic hormones such as cortisol drop. Spirit, reducing tissue breakdown and promoting an anabolic environment that favors growth. Without sufficient sleep, growth hormone release is blunted. Spirit, inflammation persists and protein synthesis slows, which undermines the training stimulus. And spirit, this explains why individuals who consistently train intensely but skimp on sleep often experience stagnation, fatigue, or even regression. And spirit, because the body simply does not have the time or hormonal conditions to transform stress into strength. And spirit, recovery also involves managing inflammation and oxidative stress. Exercise induces temporary inflammation, which is necessary to signal repair mechanisms. Spirit, but excessive or prolonged inflammation can slow recovery and increase soreness. Antioxidants like vitamin C help neutralize free radicals produced during exercise. Spirit, allowing inflammation to resolve efficiently and tissues to heal without unnecessary damage. And spirit, adequate nutrient availability and timing ensure that these protective and reparative processes are fully supported. And spirit, meaning that the recovery window is optimized for rebuilding rather than merely maintaining. And spirit. And this is a critical distinction because failing to support these processes results in a slower, less efficient adaptation. Spirit, hydration and electrolyte balance are additional factors in recovery that are often overlooked but contribute significantly to muscle function and repair. Spirit, during exercise, fluids and electrolytes are lost through sweat, and these losses affect nerve conduction, muscle contraction, and nutrient transport. Spirit, replenishing these fluids alongside the right nutrients enhances recovery efficiency, allowing muscles to rebuild and prepare for subsequent workouts. Spirit, recovery is thus not a single event, but a coordinated series of processes, all of which must be supported for optimal muscle gains. Spirit, consistency in recovery practices is another key aspect. Sporadic attention to sleep, nutrition, and rest may not be enough to maximize muscle growth. The body adapts cumulatively over time. And spirit, and regular periods of well-supported recovery ensure that the stimulus from workouts is consistently translated into growth. Missed recovery opportunities and spirit, whether due to poor sleep, inadequate nutrient intake, or stress, accumulate, and over weeks or months, they can significantly impact progress. And spirit, by treating recovery as a priority rather than an afterthought, you allow the body to fully realize the benefits of each workout. And spirit, translating effort into measurable gains. It is also important to recognize that recovery is individual. And spirit, and what works for one person may differ for another based on genetics, age, training intensity, and lifestyle factors. Spirit, some individuals may require more sleep or higher nutrient intake to achieve the same adaptive response, while others may recover more quickly. Spirit, understanding your personal recovery needs and aligning nutrient intake, sleep schedules, and rest periods with those needs. Spirit allows you to maximize muscle growth, reduce fatigue, and prevent injuries. This is why blanket advice about train harder or eat more protein often fails. Spirit, without a focus on individualized recovery strategies, the body cannot fully capitalize on exercise stimuli. Finally, and spirit, recovery is cumulative in its effect on performance. Each night of good sleep, adequate nutrition, and proper rest contributes to stronger muscles, and spirit, more resilient connective tissues, and improved energy metabolism. Over time, spirit, these incremental improvements create a compounding effect that allows for higher training volume, greater intensity, and more rapid adaptation. Conversely, and spirit, Neglecting recovery limits performance, increases the risk of injury, prolongs soreness, and reduces the effectiveness of every workout. And spirit, because the body is unable to repair itself efficiently and consistently. And spirit. This is why understanding and prioritizing recovery is fundamental to long-term muscle gains, strength improvements, and overall physical development. Spirit. Natural foods like bananas, chickpeas, citrus fruits, berries, and spinach offer accessible sources of both vitamins. And spirit. And understanding why these foods are so powerful requires looking at the nutrients they provide and how they interact with the body during muscle recovery. And spirit. Bananas, for example, are well known for their potassium content, which helps with nerve function and muscle contraction. Spirit. But they also contain vitamin B6 in significant amounts, making them an ideal snack to support protein metabolism and energy conversion. When you eat a banana, spirit, you're not just getting a quick source of carbohydrates. Spirit, you're providing the body with a nutrient that helps convert those carbs and proteins into usable energy for repair and growth. Chickpeas, on the other hand, spirit, are packed with both B6 and protein, creating a perfect synergy for muscle rebuilding. Spirit. They supply amino acids needed for protein synthesis while simultaneously offering B6 to help the body process those amino acids efficiently. And spirit. This dual role is often overlooked because people tend to separate protein sources and vitamin sources. Spirit, not realizing that combining them naturally through whole foods can provide more balanced and effective recovery support. Citrus fruits like oranges, lemons, spirit, and grapefruits are renowned for their vitamin C content, which supports collagen formation and connective tissue repair. Spirit. These fruits also have antioxidant properties that help manage oxidative stress from intense workouts. When you exercise, spirit, free radicals are produced as a natural byproduct of metabolism, and while some oxidative stress is beneficial, excessive levels can slow down recovery. And spirit, by consuming vitamin C-rich foods, the body can more efficiently neutralize these free radicals, reduce inflammation, spirit, and create an environment where muscle fibers and connective tissues can repair effectively. Berries, such as strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries, spirit, provide not only vitamin C but also polyphenols and other antioxidants that complement the effects of the vitamin. Spirit. This combination supports connective tissue strength, reduces soreness, and enhances overall recovery. Spirit, making berries an ideal addition to any recovery-focused diet. Spinach, with its high content of both vitamin C and B6, and spirit, along with other important minerals like magnesium and iron, offers another multi-faceted approach to recovery. Spirit. Magnesium supports relaxation and sleep quality, iron aids in oxygen transport to tissues, and B6 ensures proper amino acid metabolism. Spirit. Creating a natural synergy that enhances the repair process during sleep. The timing of when you consume these foods can also make a difference. Spirit. Eating vitamin-rich foods in the evening or as part of your nighttime routine ensures that these nutrients are available during the body's prime repair window while you sleep. And spirit, during deep sleep stages, protein synthesis and collagen formation peak, and having readily available vitamins supports these processes directly. For example, consuming a banana and a handful of berries before bed provides B6 to enhance protein metabolism and vitamin C to support connective tissue repair. And spirit, maximizing the efficiency of overnight recovery. This approach leverages the body's natural circadian rhythms. And spirit, allowing nutrients to be delivered at the optimal time for use in rebuilding muscle fibers, tendons, ligaments, and connective tissues. Spirit, incorporating a variety of natural foods, also helps prevent deficiencies that could compromise recovery. Many people rely on supplements alone, and spirit, assuming that a pill will provide everything they need, but whole foods offer a broader range of nutrients that work synergistically. For instance, and citrus fruits not only provide vitamin C, but also contain flavonoids that enhance antioxidant activity. Spirit, improving the effectiveness of recovery at a cellular level. Chickpeas provide B6 along with fiber, complex carbohydrates, and other minerals. Spirit, which collectively support energy metabolism, digestive health, and nutrient absorption. By consuming a diverse array of natural foods, spirit, the body receives not just isolated vitamins, but a complete package of nutrients that optimize the repair and growth process. Spirit, Another benefit of focusing on natural foods is that they support overall health, which indirectly contributes to more efficient muscle recovery. Spirit. Adequate nutrient intake from whole foods helps regulate immune function, reduce inflammation, and maintain hormonal balance. And spirit, all of which play a role in how effectively the body repairs itself after exercise. For example, vitamin C supports the immune system, and spirit ensuring that energy can be devoted to recovery rather than fighting off minor infections. Vitamin B6 helps regulate neurotransmitters, spirit, contributing to better sleep quality and hormonal balance. Together, and spirit. These benefits create an environment where recovery is not just faster but also more complete, supporting both short-term performance and long-term gains. And spirit. Practical meal planning can make it easier to incorporate these vitamin-rich foods into your diet consistently. And spirit. Breakfast could include a smoothie with berries, spinach, and a banana. And spirit, providing a combination of B6 and vitamin C along with protein from Greek yogurt or a plant-based alternative. And spirit. Lunch or dinner could include a chickpea salad with spinach, citrus dressing, and other vegetables to further boost vitamin intake. And spirit. Snacks such as an orange or a handful of berries can help maintain steady nutrient levels throughout the day. And spirit. This approach ensures that your body has a consistent supply of vitamins and other nutrients to support both immediate recovery and long-term adaptation to training. The spirit. It's also worth noting that natural foods tend to have higher bioavailability compared to some supplements. Spirit. This means that the body can absorb and utilize the nutrients more efficiently, enhancing their effectiveness. For instance, spirit. Vitamin C from citrus fruits and berries is absorbed along with flavonoids and other plant compounds that improve its stability and activity in the body. Spirit. Similarly, B6 from whole foods is delivered in a matrix of factors and nutrients that help it function more effectively in protein metabolism. By choosing natural foods, spirit, you not only provide the essential vitamins, but also enhance their function through complementary compounds found naturally in the foods themselves.